Schooling and their guests and do not reflect the views of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. An Odyssey station. This is Investor Schooling Live with your host Larry Steinhouse, CEO of Investor School.
Good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live, coming to you from the Investor Schooling Studios. I am Larry Steinhouse, and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, not Investor School, Frank, so you got to fix that. Anyway, get ready to learn real estate investing and stock options trading, and you can call me anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. That's right. It's a live program, so you can call anytime during the show. I'd love to take your calls. Don't worry about what I'm talking about because it'll be fun. We'll talk, right? At Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing. We teach stock options trading. We teach how to save money in taxes. We teach you how to be financially free, and we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. That's right. We are right off the Newtown bypass, serving New Jersey and the Philadelphia area in a real brick-and-mortar building. Our students are also located in several states with our exclusive web access to our classes and seminars. Get ready to learn this business, the business of real estate investing and stock options trading from people who live it every day. Hey, welcome to Investor Schooling Live. I am Larry Steinhouse, and I'm also here with a guest. I've got my marketing director, Paul Marturano, here. Say hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul. Hey, welcome to Investor School.
No,
it's Investor School. Paul Marturano's new show on WPHT.
Let me get this straight, right? We've been doing this show for what? For 4 years now, and Frank says Investor School instead of Investor Schooling?
That's my new show on WPHT.
Right.
Paul Marturano, Investor School. Call in now.
I mean, really. I mean, he can't even read the script. He's got to say Investor School instead of Investor Schooling. Wow, I think our marketing director needs to make a phone call to WPHT and make sure that they fix that. Make sure you play this section too. Don't just say, "Hey, listen, I got something to play for you." Don't even say, you need to fix it. Just play this. Play it from the beginning. The whole thing from the beginning. Yeah. All right. So Paul is our marketing director, and what that means is whenever you see an advertisement from Investor Schooling, like the billboards or the radio commercials or whatever, Paul's responsible to make sure that those get out and that you hear them and see them. So I actually wanted to do something. I want to have a little bit of fun today with our listeners. By the way, you can call in anytime, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. So by the way, we're going to be giving away tickets again to an event, but I want to talk about this real quick. I would like anybody online, if you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, and you have seen Paul's work, I want you to just let us know. And let us know what you think of it. So if you've seen like the billboards or if you've heard the radio commercials or anything, please let us know what you think of it. And if you call in, also let me know if you've seen the billboards on Route 95. Because we have a few billboards and I want to know what you think of them. Because, we got a couple of them and they're different kind of billboards. So you can call us in at 855-939-1137. In fact, if you call up and you say that you saw the billboard, I'm going to give you a free ticket to our event coming up. So we have an event coming up. It's actually the launch of my new book. My new book is called Money Hacks, with the subtitle Because Everything You Think You Know About Money Is Wrong. And we're having a book launch, and the book launch is on June 1st between 6 and 10, actually between 6 and 9, really. So it's going to be on June 1st, and it's going to be doing dinner. And we're charging $27 for this. However, if you call, you can have 2 free tickets. I just want to make sure you can go with a guest. If not, if you can only go by yourself, it'll be 1 free ticket. So just call up 855-939-1137 if you've seen our billboard. And the first caller that says they've seen the billboard, and they can tell me what's on it, because, obviously they can just say they saw the billboard, right? If they can tell me what's on it, they can get a free ticket to the event or a pair of free tickets to the event. That's the Money Hacks event, and you can go to moneyhackslive.com, moneyhackslive.com to take a look at that. All right, Paul. So you've been working for us now for 4 years? No, 2 years.
Larry, you don't know how long I've been working for you. 2 years and 3 months and 1 day and 33 seconds. No.
Really? Are you really counting it that much?
No,
That's pretty impressive. See, when you work here, you have such an exciting job.
That's right.
That you get to count it.
No, I have an excellent job. It's actually a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
And
right?
Yeah. But I just want to say to the callers, when you call in to say whether you like or don't like the billboards or the work that I've done. If you don't like it, please also provide your address. That's all.
What are you going to do with his
I
address?
don't know.
You've already stalked Paul Abdul.
I just have people. I have my people that get stuff done for me. That's all.
So you guys know about that? Do you know that Paul Marturano was Paul Abdul's stalker?
That's right. I was.
That was yeah. So if you ever want to look at that,
I made a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, actually, if you ever want to look at that, you can go to Paul Marturano, American Idol. Do a search on YouTube, Paul Marturano, American Idol. If you haven't seen it already, it's
you
actually
can just
very
go
funny.
to paulpiano.net.
You go to paulpiano.net. That's right.
Paulpiano.net.
Oh, wait a minute. Paul, if we're going to be talking about you for a minute, let's talk about you for a minute. So for you guys who don't know what Paul is he's a very skilled musician, actually.
That's right.
And he actually plays the what do you play? The harmonica?
Yeah. I play the harmonica, the oboe. No, I play the piano. I also play guitar, but I do a lot of dueling piano shows and solo piano shows all over the Philadelphia, New York, Delaware, Maryland area.
That's pretty cool. And so listen to this, right? So the guy's a skilled musician, and he still has time to work for Investor Schooling. Isn't that cool?
That's right.
You must really like it here.
Well, I do. I like because I get to learn also while I work what to do with my money.
So think about that. What's the most exciting thing you've learned so far at Investor Schooling? Now, you were a student first, and then we talked for a little while. I found out you were doing marketing for another company. I dragged you away.
Right.
But what was the most exciting thing that you learned so far?
God, there's so many of them. I still think the most exciting one is, and it's actually kind of boring to do, but it's very successful with it, is the Brent Kessler life insurance.
The money multiplier.
The
right?
money multiplier.
Sure. So what we do is kind of interesting. So what we do is we teach anything and everything about money. I mean, we'll teach you things about money you didn't even know, because like my book is called, right? Because everything you think you know about money is wrong. So we teach things that are amazing. So what he's talking about is how to use a whole life insurance policy as a bank. Not. I mean, it's great to have the life insurance. There's no doubt.
Sure.
But the life insurance is secondary to what whole life insurance can be used for. It could actually be used to create your own bank. So you could actually create the Bank of Paul or the Bank of Larry. I have several bank branches. You have several bank branches, right?
Bank branches.
And it's pretty wild, because if you've ever heard the concept of being your own bank, we teach the concept. Now, we don't sell life insurance, so just so you understand, we don't sell any products. So if we teach you, we suggest a mutual fund, or if we suggest a life insurance policy, or we don't sell it, and we don't make any commission on it. We have people that we recommend you use, but we don't care who you use, because we don't get anything off of it. And the reason we do that is to keep, so there's no bias. So we can let people know that our information is purely objective. So sometimes we're even coaching somebody, and we say, hey, I recommend that you do this kind of financial investment that, again, you could do it or not do it. In fact, there are times that we recommend certain brokerages for trading your stock options. But frankly, we don't care which one you use. The only reason we use the one that I recommend is because in case you call me up, and by the way, as a coach, if you call me up and you have a problem, I would say, okay, I know how to fix that problem on their app. And that's the only reason I recommend that you use the one that I use. And I could care less, again, because I don't make any money off of that either.
Sure.
So if there's a problem, they call me up and they say, hey, listen, I don't know how to close out this trade. Do this, and I know how to do it. But if you're on another trading platform, I may not know how to do it. So we don't sell anything. We only sell the education.
Yeah, and the main thing I would say is just the whole money mindset. My whole money mindset has completely changed since being here. What I do with money after I receive it, when I borrow it, where I put it, how I move it, everything is just making me money.
Yeah, it's so different. It's so different when you have a positive money mindset and understand. Now, here's something that most people don't understand, and it fascinates me that they don't understand. So a lot of times people are worried about, I can't go invest in a property because I don't have money. And the real part is, the reason that they don't have the money to invest in a property is because they don't have a property to invest in. They're looking at it backwards. Once you have something you want to buy, or something you invest in, or something you really want, you will get that. The money is a small obstacle. The real problem is getting the property. So we teach people how to borrow money from other people. We teach people how to borrow money from banks, how to borrow money from yourself. We talked about the whole life insurance before. And if there's something you really want, believe me, the money's going to come to you. It's going to come to you faster than you think.
And how to lend money. We teach how to lend money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, and it's just funny because I've talked about this before, and if you're listening to the show, and by the way, if you want to go to investorschooling.com, you can take a free class this Thursday. But if you listen to this show before, you've actually known that we talk about teaching people how to lend money, and the first thing that you're listening, if you've never heard it before, or if you're in your car, you're going, I would never lend money to somebody; they won't pay me back. And believe it or not, the way we teach how to lend money, you kind of hope that happens. And you're like, what? That didn't even make any sense, Larry. How could that be? Well, we teach you how to lend money on properties that are worth a lot more than you're lending, and we teach you how to get what's called a confession of judgment, so that if they don't pay you, the property automatically goes to you, and if it's worth more than you lent them, you make money. You know, I always make the joke that I have a whole bunch of lenders out there that wish I was dead because if I don't pay, they get the property. I know I got employees that wish I was dead, but
that's not necessarily true either.
I know, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Just incapacitated, maybe. No, but the lending is absolutely amazing. If you have a property that is a good deal that you are going to make money on, lenders will just fall into place
right.
like that.
Now, you've lent money to people.
Yeah.
Right, and you came to me because one of the things that we do as a coach, you know, so of course Paul works here; he has easy access to me.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you that so do the students. The students probably have easier access to me than you do because every time you come to me, I go, "I'm busy, leave me alone."
Right.
No, but the students have access, and they come to me and they say, "Hey, listen, you know, so and so wants to borrow money. What do you think?" And I will examine the deal. I don't care about the person. In fact, I'll tell you what: I would sooner lend to a person who is not reputable if the deal's good than a person who is reputable if the deal's bad, if you understand what I'm trying to say. If somebody comes to me with a really good deal, I'll lend to them, or I'll teach somebody else to lend to them. That's fine. The deal, all I care about is the deal, because if the person doesn't pay, I'm protected. You know, why do you think banks lend money to people? They don't lend money to people thinking, oh, well, you know, the property's worth $200,000, I'm going to lend you $300,000. No. They're going to lend you a certain amount of money because they know that if you default, and by the way, the risk goes to the buyer, not to the bank, which is the craziest part. The risk goes to the investor, not the bank, because they put a whole bunch of money up front, where the bank has very little risk to lose. And again, you look at it, 2008, it didn't turn out as bad as people think. You had these mortgages. Now, they were over, a lot of the appraisals were high, but if people put 20% down on a property, and the property went down 20%, the bank still gets all their money back, or almost all their money back. They had very little risk. Now,
do you foresee that happening in the next 2 years again?
That's a really good question. So actually, I was going to talk about that. I was saying, is a recession coming? By the way, if you guys want to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. By the way, if you're watching online, it's probably a beautiful day and nobody's listening or watching today.
It's nice out.
Yeah, so I bet you we could just have dead air, and nobody would even care.
Let's not do that, but... Sure, we're going to be quiet now for 5 minutes. No,
a moment of silence. A moment of silence for America right now because of the leadership in there. How's that?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. You can't do it.
No, we're on the radio. We got to talk, right. Larry.
We have to talk.
We have to talk about.
That's what radio is all about. I forgot.
So so obviously the housing market about in the last couple months has been at a peak. I mean, people have been selling their properties at the highest level, probably. So people just bought properties at a very high level.
Those people are going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Interest rates are going up,
but they may not be in trouble. So here's what I see so far. Right now, believe it or not, you put a house on the market, it's still going to go fast.
Right.
You know, I mean, I made the joke the other day on my other radio show.
You have another radio show? You're cheating on WPHT?
No, I'm cheating on the other radio show because the other radio show is better than this show. So if you guys want to listen to the real radio show, go to WWDB at 7:30 in the morning and listen to me there.
Or go to WWDB at 4 p.m. on Sundays.
Yeah, and you can listen to Paul's show. Right. Well, anyway, we're gonna get back. We'll get back to that. So real quick. By the way, my wife's online. She said that neither one of us could be quiet for even a minute.
That's correct.
Yes, that is correct. All right. So we were talking about the recession. We were talking about houses. So I did a report on my other show the other day about how, you know, and I made the joke that, you know, you used to be able to put a sign in the lawn, and by the time the sign hit the lawn, you had 20 offers. Now that's a bit of a joke, but it was pretty soon you'd have offers within 24 hours, and you'd have multiple offers within 24 hours, and that would be what would happen. Now you have houses, maybe they're taking a week to sell, so it's still not bad. It's still actually pretty good. The mortgage rates are really high. I mean, and by the way, I shouldn't say really high because they're not high at all. If you have mortgage rates at 5.5% or 5% or 6%, it's nothing. It's really nothing. It's just that we had these crazy mortgage rates for the last year that were 3 and 3.5%. That were unbelievably low. That's what it really is. The bottom, the trough. We hit the absolute trough at 3 or 3.5% interest rates, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. By the way, we got Jay on the line. What's going on, Jay?
How you doing, Larry?
All right, man.
That's okay, Jay. Don't say hi to me.
I was calling about. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello. Hi, Jay.
I'm not used to hearing you on the radio.
I know. I'm not used to being on it. Well, actually, I am. But anyway, welcome, Jay. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Paul's such a ham, isn't he, Jay?
Yes.
All right, so Jay, what's going on, man? Have you seen our billboards?
I have seen your billboard on the turnpike.
On the turnpike? Well,
Just past the PA turnpike. Just
When was
past the Ben Salem exit.
when was that?
I see that all the time.
All the time. It hasn't been up for 6 months. We moved it to 95.
6 months?
Yeah, we moved it to 95 6 months ago.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, I remember it on the turnpike.
Should we give it to him anyway?
Yeah, I think so.
no,
But
he
Jay,
called.
I can tell you what it is.
What does it say?
It's investor schooling with a house and a arrow going up.
All right, it has the logo. Yeah,
For
there
the
you
stock
go.
market.
All right, we're gonna give it to him, but it would have been nice if he would have said he saw it on 95.
right. Well, Jay, have you come into
Well, I could have seen it there. I'm sorry?
have you come into a Thursday night class from seeing the billboard? Have you gone to
I have
investorschool.com?
not yet.
Yeah. So Paul, you know,
Not yet.
hold on, Jay. I got to teach Paul some etiquette on.
I don't have any etiquette.
No, he doesn't know this because it took me. Nobody taught me this, by the way, Jay. So hold on one second. Nobody taught me this, Paul.
Sure.
You would think that the producers would tell you, or the people at the radio station, that there is a delay between by the time you speak and he hears you. So you have to wait a second or two for him to hear you, and then you got another second or two for him to respond. That's why we always talked over the people on the radio who called in. But now that we've learned how to do it, because from experience, because again, nobody tells us. You know, Glenn Page, the producer over at PhD, could have said that to us the first day we were on the air. But no, it took me 4 years to understand how to do this. Sorry, Jay, I'm just ranting again.
I'm very impatient. I don't like to wait 2 seconds.
All right, so Jay,
I see that.
So Jay, here you go. So we're going to let you come to our event, and you are certainly welcome. Also, if you'd like to come Thursday, everyone can come complimentary on Thursday. You can go to investorschooling.com, but don't hang up because Glenn Page is going to take your information, and he's going to
After that?
What after that? Yeah. Listen, don't get mad at Jay because I insulted you.
Okay.
All right. So Glenn's gonna take your information, Jay. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Do you want one ticket or two?
I'll take 2.
All right,
My
awesome.
wife and I.
All right, cool. Glenn's gonna take your information, and thanks for calling. We really appreciate it.
Thank.
Got it. All right. See that? See what happens? Now you have to listen.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that they don't give you this simple lesson on how to take phone calls?
I hear you.
Yeah. Right. No, you didn't.
I didn't hear you.
No. If you would have heard me, you would have.
I didn't hear you.
All right. So getting back to the recession, and is it coming? Yes, housing prices are going to go down. The question is it going to be as bad as 2008? It might be. It might be. And the reason I say that is because 2008, I've said this for a long time now, that 2008 really happened. Now, of course, there was ridiculous lending, and there was the crazy, we talked about this before, the appraisals that were too high. However, I really believe that the 2008 problem happened in 2001 when we had 9/11 and we had the government infusing money into the system to prevent a recession.
Right.
And because of that, now 2001, we should have had, if you figure that there are cycles, every 7 years there are cycles, 2001 was the end of the cycle. And the market was supposed to go down, the housing market was supposed to go down, and it didn't. So it never went down, and it kept going up to 2008. So in 2008, we had a double cycle. So we lost twice as much as we normally would have lost in a normal cycle. Now the question is first of all, I believe that what's going to happen within the next 2 years, we're going to have a recession. It's just whether you want to blame the Fed or whether you want to blame Biden or Putin or Trump.
Blame them all. Hey, let's blame them all. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, the same thing just happened though in 2020. A bunch of money got infused into the economy because of COVID.
Because of the scamdemic. You can say it.
The scamdemic.
The
scamdemic.
Yeah, SCAM. Scam.
The bull crap. I'll just call everything bull crap. Everything's bull crap.
I don't know if you can say that on the radio.
I could say crap on the radio.
You can? All right. Just
bull,
be careful.
Bull pahooey.
Pahooey? Okay. Just be careful because we're not on your
I know.
We're not on your station where they let you say all these nasty things.
Gilbert Godfrey says the nasty things, not me.
It's true. If you ever listen to his show, it's not Paul's show yet. Actually, anyway.
But anyway, so we had all the money infused in 2020.
Right.
Now all these people are we're basically back where we were in 2001. They infused all the money, and then 2008 we had the problem. So where do you see the problem coming up?
So I see it coming in 2 years. I see it's going to be really bad in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad now, but it's not. But people haven't even realized it yet. So I mean, we have gas prices sitting $6 a gallon. They'll probably go as high. A lot of people are saying 10. I think it'll hit 7 and peak and come back down.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have normal gas prices for the rest of our life. No, I shouldn't say the rest of our life, but for the next 10 years, normal gas prices will be $3.50 to $4 a gallon. It's never going to go back into the $1.50 range again.
Right.
It just never will happen again. It's just because it just won't. We have inflation brings inflation. It just makes everything go up, and it eventually settles at another number. It's like we're never going to have 99-cent gas prices again. It'll never happen. We'll never have $1.50 gas prices again. We'll probably have $3 or $3.50 gas prices again, and that will be the new low. That's going to be a rough estimate, but that'll be the new low. And it's a shame because that's what happened. And if you want to blame anybody, you can blame President Poopy Pants for that one, because that one, I got to tell you, that's really his fault. There's no doubt. He closed the pipeline and prevented people from drilling, and that's really his fault.
Well, actually, probably all the people that funded President Poopy Pants said, hey, get into office and close the pipeline, and then we'll make a bunch of money. And the other people that funded Trump, there would have been something else where they would have made a bunch of money. So it doesn't matter. It's all crap. All of it.
That's Paul's. That's
politics. Politics is all crap.
Paul's politics. All right. So anyway, what's going to happen though is
very nuanced.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Well, what's going to happen though, what's really cool, is what's going to happen is in the next 2 years there's going to be opportunities to buy real estate, and there's going to be some really good opportunities to buy real estate. Now, understand, it's funny because when people say, "Oh, you're a real estate investor," you take advantage of people in bad situations. And the answer is just the opposite. Mm-hmm. I help people in bad situations. Now, here's a situation. Let's talk about a situation that's probably going to happen. And matter of fact, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of whether I'm going to be the person that they're going to sell the house to or not. So you have a couple that they got married last year. They bought their house this year, right? Mm-hmm. And, sure enough, they're living together now. Let's say they paid $400,000 for this house, and their mortgage payment is, $2,800 a month. And 2 years from now, they decided that this marriage was a bad idea. Right now, they're at $2,800 a month. They put nothing down or almost nothing down in the house because it was an FHA deal. Maybe they put $4,000 down, and they owe $400,000 on this house, and the house is now worth $360,000. Now, it's not worth that much less, but it's worth $360,000. Now, neither one of these people have $40,000 to cover the mortgage plus the real estate fees, which would cost them about $60,000 just to sell the house. And then I come along and say, look, I got a way out for you. I will take over your $400,000 mortgage. I will buy your house. I will take over your $400,000 mortgage. You don't have to worry about the property anymore. You guys could go along and do your thing and, get divorced and find your girlfriends and boyfriends or whatever it is you want to do, and no longer be a problem. And that's what we do. It's something we teach. We can actually take over properties. It's called taking over properties subject to the original mortgage. Learning this skill, This is one of the most powerful skills that you're going to learn in the next 2 years. You're going to be so many properties that you could buy subject to because of this situation, because the houses are too expensive. Now, I use the divorce situation. It might be somebody moving because they have to move. Let's say they have to move to California because they got a job there. I feel sorry for them, but maybe they got a job there. Maybe they moved to Florida because they realize they want to live in America again. Whatever the situation is, that will produce opportunities to buy subject to properties. So you'll be able to buy those too.
Well, here's the thing. So you're taking over a mortgage that's $400,000 on a property worth $360,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the rent coming in from that?
Well, of course. So that's what I have to do. I have to examine the rent. So we said that would cost them about $2,800 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I could rent that property for $2,800 or more, it's worth it for me to take it over. Now, some people will say, "Well, you're not going to make any money on it if you bought it for $2,800. If you're getting a rent of $2,800." Now, again, there's some other little nuances in there, but let's just say it cost all my expenses are $2,800, and I rent it out for $2,800. So I make nothing during that time. But I now own an asset that even if the asset's underwater, who cares? The tenant is the one paying for that asset. They're paying the mortgage. They're paying the interest.
Mm-hmm.
And when eventually it's going to go forward, plus eventually that tenant's going to move out, and I'm going to be able to get more money for it, and maybe I'll get more. I bought a bunch of these 6 or 7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I have one that I'm paying, I think it's $800 a month for, and now the rent is $1,600. When I first took it over, it was $900. So it doesn't take long for rents to go up. And in fact, by the way, I wanted to thank Biden because I really appreciate him for causing this inflation problem, because inflation for a real estate investor is the greatest thing ever. Because my properties are now, I literally increased my net worth last year. I increased it a little over $1 million last year.
Beautiful.
Because of inflation. I did nothing else. I even lost some money in the stock market, and I still increased my net worth over $1 million because of the houses I own and because of the inflation. So inflation's a great thing for property owners. Plus, I go to the gas pump right now. This morning I put gas in my car, and it cost me $100. Actually, I think it probably cost more than $100, but I don't know if you know this. They shut you off at $100, right?
Right.
So it got to $100. It was close enough to fill. I said, that's fine. I'm not going to put more in. So it cost me $100, and I look at that and I laugh because I've raised my rents on my properties. If you take all my properties, I've raised them all $100. It's okay with me. Biden's inflation is paying for my gas.
Right. Well, here's the thing. People that own property and that are actually doing what you're doing, it benefits them. It's the people that don't own property that are really going to suffer and suffer a lot.
Well, they may suffer, but so some people look. There's some people who will never own property. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
There are some people who will never advance in money, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I've actually come to the realization that some people who don't advance money-wise, they can still be happy.
Sure.
And once you understand that money and happiness, or riches and happiness, have nothing to do with each other. You could be rich and happy. You could be rich and miserable. Mm-hmm. You could be poor and happy, and you could be poor and miserable. Choose whichever category you want to be in. My choice has always been rich and happy.
Sure.
So I tend to work on that category. By the way, if you want to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, and I don't know, let's give another ticket away. What do we want to give another ticket away for?
I'd like to hear someone's story of whether they're rich and happy, poor or happy.
All right, let's do that. That's a good one. So Paul said, call up, let us know whether you're rich and happy, poor and happy, or rich and miserable, or poor and miserable. I guess if you're poor and miserable, you're probably not going to call. But you can if you want to. But while you're doing that, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll talk to you guys when we get back. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling.
You're clear.
All right. I like this music better than the music in my commercial. All right, welcome back to
Like
Investors.
Devo.
What's that? Go ahead.
It's like Devo.
Yeah, it's like Devo. Yeah, remember Devo?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
one step beyond.
Yeah, but by the way, real quick before we go into this conversation of Devo, welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. Now that you guys interrupted me, we're talking about real estate. We're talking about stock options. We're talking about paulpiano.net. paulpiano.net. And Glenn Page, our producer, is interrupting us, and that's cool because I like
Devo.
Yeah, there you go. Right, there you go. And if you want to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, and we're giving away another 2 tickets to Money Hacks, the Money Hacks live event, and that's on June 1st. So if you want to go to my book launch, Money Hacks live event, you can go to moneyhackslive.com. And why were we giving away? Well, we want to know if you were rich and happy, or poor and happy, or rich and miserable, or whatever you are.
And poor and miserable.
And poor and miserable. Or a story about that if you'd like. Because some people don't want to admit they're miserable,
Well,
right?
sure.
I don't want to admit I'm miserable.
You're not miserable.
I'm looking at you. I'm miserable.
You're miserable?
Just looking at you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
I'm just teasing you.
That's a lovely compliment.
All right, you know what? Hey, Paul, real quick. I got. It's funny because we just came back from the commercials, and we have your commercials for you.
That's right.
Which I just find it absolutely hysterical. So we talked about this before. Paul's a very established musician, and he has commercial. And I have to tell you, first of all, this is dedicated to the late great Gilbert Gottfried.
That's right.
And he did a commercial before he passed away. He did a commercial for Paul, and you got to hear it. I just want to play it. Hold on one second. Here it is. Maybe.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried. Shazam! I just heard the music of Paul Marturano, and I am throwing out all of my other music. I am going to paulpiano.net and buying all of his music. paulpiano.net.
I know the rumor. The rumor was that he died of a very serious illness.
Sure.
But I actually think he died because he listened to your music.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
If you want to find out, go to paulpiano.net.
There you
Listen
go.
and see if you die.
All right, real quick. Hey, we got Mick and Happer. What's going on, Mick?
Hey, Larry, how are you?
What's happening, man?
Nothing much, but I just wanted to call as my first-time caller. I'm always a long-time listener, and I'm a student of yours.
Oh, I know
and
you
got
are.
a
Yeah.
really good story to tell.
All right, tell us the story.
Okay. Okay. Every time I went to your meetings on Thursdays, I always saw somebody have a big check in their hand.
Yeah.
You introduce on how to. So I was like, man, I really want to get a big check in my hand. So what I did, I sold one of my properties last October, doubled my money, and what I did, instead of taking the capital gains tax, I invested into another property.
Nice.
And in April, I closed on a refi, and I wrote myself a check out for $118,000.
Well, wait a minute. Where have you been, man? What are you doing Thursday? We got to do the big check delivery.
That's it.
I'm trying to think what Thursday I can get there. But you know what? When every week that I went there or I sold online, I'm like, I'm getting a big check.
Yeah, you are getting a big check.
You are getting a big check.
Yeah, $118,000 is a big check.
Beautiful.
I like it.
Beautiful.
Well,
Can you be here Thursday
put a
and
cherry-
so we
put
could
a
tell
cherry on
everybody the
top?
story?
yeah, and put a cherry on top. I refied another duplex in the same package deal and walked away with another $77,000.
So if I understand you correctly, you are complimenting the school for making you $200,000 tax free.
Yes.
Awesome,
yes,
man.
in 3 months.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys
Yep.
want to learn from the people who taught Mick? That's us.
That is. I think the marketing director.
You know what?
Sorry, go ahead, Mick. I was going to say the marketing director should start taking a percentage.
But I wanted to make sure everything was finalized and make sure I got that money in the account
Awesome.
before I made the phone call. And I just want to say thanks for $200,000, guys. Thank
Awesome,
you.
man. Thank you. Hey,
Beautiful.
before you go, did you sign up for the Money Hacks event yet?
No, he just won tickets.
No, but I I did pre-order the book through Amazon like about
cool.
6 or 8 months ago.
Well, you know, I
Yeah,
realize
but I'm looking forward to.
I realize with the $200,000 you just got, you can afford to go, but you did call in, so we will give you. You want one ticket or two?
It's June 1st, right? It's a Wednesday.
June 1st is a Wednesday. It's at 6
think it is.
o'clock. Yeah, can you make it?
No. What's the latest you're going to be there till?
Well, we'll be there probably till about 9.
You know what? Maybe I get off of work around 8ish, and I might be able to squeeze down there just to say hi.
Well, you do that anyway,
June
but
1st.
we probably don't want to pay for a dinner for you if you're not going to even eat it. So, but if you want to pop in, you can.
I won't be able to use it.
All right, very cool, man.
But I just wanted to call and say, thank you, and I'm looking forward to do my next deal, and
Sounds good, man.
It's well worth the investment into the schooling that you pay for.
Thank you,
So
man.
when people raise their eyebrows on the cost, well, you know what? I'll pay that cost anytime to turn it into $200,000.
Yeah, me
anytime.
too. That's awesome, man. Thank you. All right, cool. Mick, thanks so much. And let us know when the next time you're going to come in on Thursday so we can take a picture with the big check.
Oh, my God. And the Sultan, right? You got to do the stock option Sultan, too?
Of course.
Is he going to be in the picture?
We absolutely.
All right. You know what? I'll call. I'll shoot you a text message on a Thursday that I can make it there. But thank you again, Larry. Thanks, Investor Schooling.
Thank you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, I'm going to do my job as marketing director real quick. If you want to be like Mick, go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a free Thursday night class. Come in and see us on Thursday. That's investorschooling.com.
Now,
Be like Mick.
If you really want to be the marketing director, you're going to take that clip out of this radio show and you're going to use that as a testimonial.
I think so.
I mean, come on now.
I think we will.
You need to talk to Mike, our producer here.
That's
and
right.
The two of you need to get together and take that apart.
That's right. And then Glenn needs to come in. I mean, Glenn's the producer. Mick needs to come in. We need to take a picture of the
big check.
And then,
while it's on the big check, he could play that clip.
That's beautiful.
Really. All right. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Call in. Let us know. Let us know your story about anything that you worked on, or if you're rich and happy, or poor and miserable, and poor and happy, and blah 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 blah. But whatever, let us know, and you can get a free ticket to the Money Hacks event, or 2 free tickets to the Money Hacks event, because we'd love to have you here. It's actually a lot of fun. It's going to be a blast. That event's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a party.
Yeah, it's going to be a party. I'm also going to be giving a bunch of free advice, on how to make more money. And you're going to get your book signed. If you have a book, you're going to get your book signed. So
I've read the book. I've read the book.
What's your favorite chapter?
My favorite chapter is the one where you plagiarized my book and put, hey, Paul Marturano's book about... No, I'm just kidding.
I plagiarized your book? No, I
You
mentioned
didn't.
your
I
book.
know, you mentioned
I
mine.
said, by the way, tell everybody about the book you wrote.
33 Beliefs for a Happy Life.
Right. So I have a chapter, and the chapter is called Can Money Buy Happiness?
That's right.
And I actually proved it can.
That's right.
I proved that money can buy happiness. So one of the things that I used in my book, and I referred to you in it, in the book, was your definition of happiness. Do you remember your definition of happiness?
I don't remember my own definition of happiness, but if you want to find out what it is, you can go to 33beliefs.com and order the book, 33 Beliefs for a Happy Life.
All right, here you go. Ready? Paul Marturano, one of my students and colleagues, wrote a book called 33 Beliefs for a Happy Life. Belief number 14 is this: we all want the same thing, to be loved and to be happy. It's what makes us human. It is the main reason for most of what we do. The secret to receiving love and happiness is to do the thing you want. I love it. That was out of my book, but I just mentioned your book in it. So it's not that I plagiarized it. I mentioned you.
I know
I'm selling your book in my book.
By
the way, I didn't even get any fee for that.
That's right.
I should get a fee for that.
That's right. You get.
All right.
I hang out with you. That's
I know.
Right. That's the fee.
I should get paid more for that.
Maybe you should.
All right, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. What do you want to talk about next? You want to talk about...
Before we get off the book here, I do have to say, the book is a really, really great overview of just everything that we teach in investor schooling.
Absolutely.
It's a good, taste of it.
Yeah, you can go to You can actually go to Barnes and Noble or anywhere else, where books are sold. You can look up Larry Steinhouse Money Hacks, and you'll be able to see what's in the book. And I'll tell you what, I tell you, I'm actually very proud of it because it's really a helpful book, and it's under $20, right? I mean, I got the first chapter is money mindset, and we talked about money mindset before. We talked about the second chapter is what is money anyway? How much money do you want? I like this one. Actually, I'm going to do this. Let's change the free ticket. Here we go. You call me right now and tell me how much money you want and what you would do with it, and I will give you a free ticket to the Money Hacks event on June 1st. So call me up right now, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. Say how much money you would want and what you would do with it. I'd be just curious. I won't judge.
I will judge.
Whatever it is you want to do, I'm curious to know how much money you want and what you would do with it. 855-939-1137, and you will get 1 or 2 tickets to the event. All right. So thank you for plugging my book. I really appreciate that, Paul.
Sure.
And thanks for liking it.
No problem.
Does it actually sound like like people could read it?
What do you mean? Does it sound like people?
Is it easy to read?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to read.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Now getting back to what else do you want to talk about right now? You want to talk about where I think the stock market's going?
I think that would be a wonderful idea.
Oh my goodness! So the S&P the other day officially hit bear market territory. Here's what's interesting: it didn't close in bear market territory, so it may not be bear market territory after all. So what happens is, if the S&P falls below 20% of its high, which it did Friday, it fell below 20% of its high, but it didn't close there. But the true definition is that it fell 20% off its high. Now, I totally believe that it's going to go down further. It's going to go way below the 20%, and that's just the way it is because the high was ridiculous, and the numbers after the COVID nightmare or the total BS of COVID, those numbers seemed very inflated to me. I had said even when it went over 28,000, I was like, what? I don't see these numbers working anymore. Something's wrong. And then it hit very, very high numbers. I think it hit 36,000 or 38,000. I can't remember which. Right. But it went nuts. The Dow went nuts. And now we're going to probably see it going to be, and I've been saying this for a while, we're probably by the end of the year, we're going to be around the 28,000, which is the number that I predict. And I don't think it's going to go much lower than that, but it's going to start to do the normal ups and downs from there, 28 to 20, maybe 26, maybe 27 to 29, maybe 28 to 30. But it's going to be those normal numbers, and we're going to get back into a normal cycle, which I'm really happy about because that's how I predict the market, is I predict in cycles. When it does major moves like it is now, it hurts me.
Well, right now the VIX is, how high is the VIX?
So the VIX is around 30, 31, 32.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it closed at the other day. So the VIX, for you guys who don't know what the VIX is what's, they refer to it as the fear indicator. And the VIX is basically it's a formulation of how many people are buying puts and how many people are buying calls and how quickly they're buying puts. Actually, it's below 30. It's 29.4. Okay. But even at 30, even at 30, where whatever,
it's
what it is
pretty
now,
high. Normally,
that's a really high number.
Right. Normally, it's like what, 9?
No, not 9 would be ridiculously low. But let's put it this way: when Trump was in office, and we didn't have coronavirus and all that stuff, the VIX, when it hit 16, it was considered high.
Right.
So it was like 12 or 13 was normal, but the new normal could be 30. So what I mean by that is like 30 could be equivalent to 13, 14, the same way.
Okay.
I know it's kind of weird to think about it that way, but there are more investors in there. Are more people are just moving faster in the market right now, and it will slowly slow down. If it could go below 20, I'd be very happy because that would slow the market down. And one of the things I've noticed about the VIX is, yes, when the VIX is high, the market tends to go down, but what it really does is it tends to move really fast, like it did on Friday. Friday we opened up 200 or 300 points up, then we were 200 or 300 points down, and then we closed even, which was weird. It was just weird that it closed at the same numbers or just about the same numbers that it opened, that it closed the night before.
So then for the next couple months, are you planning on doing more covered calls than regular stock options?
That's a good question too. Yeah. So covered calls. Just so you know what covered calls are. And covered calls are a really safe way to invest in the stock market and make a little extra money. So the best way, and it's hard to describe exactly. If you don't understand what a call is or what an option is, it's hard to explain what a covered call is. But let me give you a good analogy of what a covered call is. Let's say you buy a property, and let's say you bought a property for $100,000, and you rent that property out for, let's say, I don't know, $1,000 a month. Well, you could kind of do that with your stocks. You could sort of rent them out. You're not exactly renting the stock, but you can get a percentage of money every month on your stocks by selling the covered calls. Now, again, if you don't know what they are, don't worry about it. But I have made some substantial dollars selling covered calls. And it's a very safe play, especially if you have stocks. So if you have stocks and your plan is to buy and hold stocks, you can make money on covered calls. Even if it's a couple of bucks, you can make money on covered calls. Let's say you had $100,000 worth of a stock, and it was just sitting there, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for it to do something. You could sell a covered call that's kind of out of the money, and you keep the stock, you keep the money, and everything's great, and you could do it over and over again every week. I was doing covered calls on Uber, and I was making $1,400 a week selling covered calls on a $38,000 investment. A week I was making $1,400, and I made that for 6 weeks in a row. I didn't play it this week because I was waiting for Uber to go up a little bit higher. But so what? It's not a big deal. I can continue doing it. In fact, it was funny because on Tuesday when the market was up, I'm like, I should sell my covered calls right now, and I didn't. But then again, I was like, just came back from my trip, and I was like, I didn't have a minute to think about it. But that would have been a good time to do it. So if you've never done covered calls, we teach that at Investor Schooling as well. We teach stock options at Investor Schooling. We teach real estate at Investor Schooling. And what are some of the things, we talked about the life insurance, what are some of the other things that you learned at Investor Schooling that you had no idea even existed?
Just the way we look at credit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just the different ways to buy real estate. I had no idea. I had no idea about subject to. I didn't really know about wholesaling. I didn't really know much at all about real estate.
Yeah.
Now I know all the different ways to buy, lend, and use real estate.
So isn't it cool when you see a student buy a property on their credit card?
Yeah.
It's wild, right? You're like, what? Huh?
Right.
So all you guys who are listening right now, by the way, 855-939-1137 if you want to call in, 855-939-1137. What was the contest? I forgot.
2 tickets to Money Hacks Alive.
What was the qualification?
Oh, wait. I forgot to. We changed it.
All right, you're up. We got 10 minutes left. So
tell us whatever you want.
Here's the qualification. Call in. 855-939-1137.
Call now.
Call now. And you can win. What's the...
That's right. Call now for 2 tickets to Money Hacks Live.
Phone lines are open.
There you go. Phone lines are open. Yeah, right.
An operator is waiting to take your call.
And his name is Glenn.
That's right.
And by the way, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, can you just say hi? Because I'm not even sure if we're transmitting out there. The only thing I see is my wife. She's the only one commenting. It must be a really, really nice day out today. Nobody's even paying attention to us.
It's almost too hot.
It's too hot?
It's getting there.
That's like, is that like, oh, I don't know.
It's like the Bruno Mars
my wife too hot?
Everyone's at the beach, man.
I know, they're all at the beach. They're listening to music instead of listening to two guys chitter chatter about books and money.
Chitter chatter.
Chitter chatter.
We're chittering. We're chitter chattering.
Chitter chattering
about money.
I tell you what.
Chittering
and chattering. I tell you what. At the event, I'm going to give a $100 bill away. How's that?
Sounds good.
So if you get a free ticket to the event, you qualify to get a $100 bill.
Which means you'll make money by just coming to the event and eating dinner.
Yeah, remind me to give the $100 bill away because I already forgot.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'll forget to. Hey, Mike, remind us to give a $100 bill away.
Remind us to give a $100 bill away. All right. So if you want to give us a call, 855-939-1137, and you can get tickets to the Money Hacks event, which is June 1st. And we're going to be, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's the launch of my book. I promise you the book is good. I also promise you that we'll be giving lots of great information. Mm-hmm. And if you want to come to Investor Schooling this Thursday, how do they come to Investor Schooling Thursday?
Register at investorschooling.com.
I thought you were going to do the voice.
Hey, if you want to come to Investor Schooling this Thursday, register at investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
We might have to have you do a commercial.
Well, I do charge by the second for that.
You charge by the second, huh?
Second.
Right. Well, since it's a 30-second spot, I'm going to give you $1 a second. How's that?
$1 a second. Let's see. That would be No. I mean not the actual time it takes me to do the commercial.
Oh, okay.
So for a 30-second spot, it might take about 2 hours to get it.
Okay, there you go. All right. All right, I'll give you a penny a second then.
Ah,
All right.
that's perfect.
Hey, by the way, Frank says hi. He's watching on. He's one of our students. He's watching on
Hey, Frank.
online. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate you watching. At least I know it's working. You know, my goodness. So out of all the 7 people that are in their car right now, if you give us a call, 855-939-1137. By the way, you can ask us questions too on anything out there as well. All right. So, what else we got? Something else you want to talk about?
Whatever you would like, Larry.
Whatever I would like. What do you think? You know. What about you, Glenn? Is something you want to talk about?
No.
All right. Do you have a fear of the recession, Glenn?
Aren't we in a recession? I mean, I know they keep saying technically we're not in a recession, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Feels like we are.
So we're actually not in a recession. So a recession, we're actually in the opposite of a recession. We're in inflation. So that you actually just gave me some interesting thing to talk about. So a recession is not.
You're welcome.
There you go. A recession is not that feeling that I'm going broke, which a lot of people have, especially right now when they're buying gas. A recession is when prices start to go down instead of starting to go up. Now, it's weird because if you think about it, like if prices start to go down, wouldn't that be a good thing, Glenn?
Yeah.
You would think so, right?
Deflation is bad, though.
Right, but that's what'll happen. So if recession hits, prices stop going up, they start going down, and that affects businesses, that affects incomes. So now we have people. I was talking to a guy who owned a bagel shop today, and I was talking about his business. He owns a bagel shop. He was paying his employees $20 an hour because he couldn't maintain employees. And these guys are just making bagels. They're putting a schmear on a bagel, and he's paying them $20, right?
Wow.
So that was
What
pretty
bagel
wild.
shop is that?
Manhattan Bagel, actually, in Chalfont.
Wow.
It was kind of interesting. I went there. I kind of got lost. I was going to the mall, and I kind of got lost. But yeah, it was a long story. But I got lost, and I ended up there, and I had a bagel. But anyway, so I'm talking to the owner, and he's telling me he's paying $20 an hour. So remember that this guy, he's paying $20 an hour. So his bagel prices, of course, are reflecting that. I mean, I had a bagel sandwich this morning, and it was like $11 with a coffee. So it was ridiculously high. But if he has to start charging less than $11 for that bagel and coffee, maybe he charges $9 or $8 or $7, he can't pay $20 an hour anymore. And that's where recession hurts the average person. Now, the other thing, too, is the average landlord. So I rented one of my places today. I rented it for a nice rent. I rented it for $1,900 a month. Now, if it starts to get to the point where this guy's making less money who rented it from me, he may have to come to me and say, listen, I can't afford $1,900 a month. And he either leaves or I agree to pay to charge less. But if he leaves, I may have to charge less because the next guy's making less money. Right. That's a recession. That's what happens in a recession. That's why recessions are dangerous.
So what is the difference between a recession and a full-blown depression?
So it depends on how much time. So I know a recession is 2 months. I'm not sure. I believe a recession is 4 or 6, but I'm not sure. I'm sorry, depression is 4 or 6 months. So as prices start to go down, so we had inflation. Like, you know, we saw, I think it was, and again, if I would have known this question, I would have had all this information in front of me.
But
I believe it was 1.8% was the increase month over month. But if it starts to go down, you're gonna have the same thing. So if it's negative numbers, so in other words, let's say it goes down 0.5%, and it happens 2 months in a row, that's a recession. A depression means that the prices are going down. I believe it's 4 or 6 months. And my apologies. If you want to look it up online, you can look it up.
So back in 1929, that's what.
That was a depression. It was a very long time. It was a very long time. I think it was 13 months.
Okay.
So that was a really long time. That hurt. That hurt a lot.
Oh yeah.
We've seen that once since. I don't remember the year, and that was it. But it wasn't that bad of a depression.
Right.
It wasn't as bad as the 29. It was not at all. In fact, a lot of people made a lot of money in 29
Sure.
because they bought stocks. So the average person couldn't buy stocks anymore because they were scared. Don't be scared. If you want to invest in the stock market, don't be scared. Now's the time to invest. Now, at the same time, you may buy it today, and it'll go down on Monday. So it does. So it goes. I mean, you're not going to buy it today, but you're going to buy it on Monday. It goes down by the end of the week. Don't look at it day by day. You got to look at this as a long-term play. Right. Same thing with real estate. I mean, I bought all my real estate. I had no idea that I was going to make $1 million, have my net worth go up $1 million last year. I didn't care. I just knew that I had real estate. I knew that it was going to make me money.
Right.
So real quick, we usually get into the stock option consultant right now. We're kind of running overtime, but real quick.
Stock option sorting. Stock
So all I have to say is, whatever I tell you, just don't do it. No, I'm only kidding. It's been that kind of a. It's been that kind of a month.
Well, it's been
rough.
Right. Obviously, you're looking to do long-term things, not short-term now.
Right. So options. Right. We do recommend options. There's some are certain options. I got to tell you, CCL and AAL, they are great options. It's just really scary.
You got to go far out.
You're in it. Yeah, you're in it. I'm in it, and they're scary. I've got a couple of expiring in July. I got a CCL option expiring as a 17.5 strike price. Yike, that's scary. It's very scary that it's 17.5. I'm nervous about that one.
So if someone wanted to buy that option today, how far out should they go?
I would try to go to January now.
January?
Yeah, January. And it's going to come back. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
So I do this all the time. I play with stock options all the time, and I'm always right. I'm just not always right on time.
So you're saying go over two earnings?
Yeah, I would go over 2 earnings. I'd go into January. I would maybe in February, just because there'll be an earnings report in January. It's gonna do well. It's just gonna take some time. Right now, it's a great stock to buy.
Yeah.
Both AAL and CCL are great stocks to buy. Those are the only stocks that have not come back. The travel stocks, the traveling stocks, not the travel stocks. So the travel stocks, like hotels, they all came back.
Right.
But the traveling stocks, how to get to somewhere, did not come back yet, and that surprises me. I'm actually shocked to see those numbers for AAL and CCL being that low.
So, great stock options, Sultan. How much should someone put in to regular options as opposed to covered calls? Is there a percentage? Are you doing a percentage in your account where you're doing more in covered calls?
All right, so remember, you have to own the stock to be in covered calls. So that's why you would be able to own the stock. But we got about 20 seconds, so I want to say goodbye to everybody. If you guys want to take a class, go to investorschooling.com, and you can take a class this Thursday. Of course, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you, Paul, for being here. I want to thank Mike, our producer in-house. And, of course, I want to thank the famous Glenn Page. Go to investorschooling.com. We'll see you Thursday.
This program is paid for by investors.
Your